You are now tuned in to the Project 365 experience.
It is my pleasure to be joined by KJ, Keana FOZ. How are you? Holy, the CEO of Point Goddess. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. I'm good. Funny story. I don't even think you remember. I don't even think you remember this, but when I first started coaching, when I started
Hmm.
coaching at, the YMHA Wolves down in Montreal,
Yeah.
and I was, just trying to figure out this whole basketball thing, because it was still new to me because I had played, but I didn't really know if it was possible for me to ever get like a career per se, right?
Hmm.
So I go through that, and every year, I'm coaching boys, and I run into three girls on this Page team that pick up my boys full court, turn them over, and are scoring layup after layup after layup. I don't even know if you remember, but back then you used to
No,
have
I remember that.
buckets. I remember you used to have
Yeah.
the bud. You used to have
Hmm.
the bud and the one leg sleeve. I
Yeah,
don't
and my
know,
headband too.
uh,
My Nike headband too. I
and
had that.
then back then I
Yeah.
was like, holy man, I would feel bad for these boys, man. They don't understand, man. It's been
Yeah.
bad. It's been good. It's been good to see you grow into this role and just see you mature as not even a young teenager, as a young woman, and being able to
Mhm.
inspire so many people. So talk to me how you got to this point. Like being able to transition also from basketball. How did it happen? Like basketball, and then you start thinking brand. Like, how does that happen?
I mean, to be honest, it's something that just like comes comes in time. Like for example, I was playing basketball, and then um, I had to like truly find myself and like my inner beauty and have that confidence. Because I mean, confidence comes a long way. And then as I started playing, like Point Goddess came along, and then ever since then, like it's just been growing.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So it's like, so let me just kind of like pick your brain on it. So when you're looking at Point Goddess, right?
Hmm.
What is like your goal? What is your mission?
So my goal or mission is really just to empower and inspire as many other female athletes, not even just athletes, but just female and women in general. So for example, like one of my biggest like motivators are really the young girls who look up to me, who are always like, "Oh my gosh, point goddess." So now like whenever I see little girls, like they know like about me. They don't even call me by my name anymore. They just say point goddess. And sometimes I'm just like, okay, you know what, I'll take it as point goddess. But that like just seeing them being inspired by me like really pushes me to continue with this point goddess, because I mean it's not easy obviously being a student athlete, like having a brand and like practices, school, and going back and forth. Like it's not easy balancing it, but it's like once I really knew that I wanted to do this and go through with this, it just it's just a habit now. Like I already know, like it's just my lifestyle.
Mm-hmm. So let me take you back a little bit. What was the moment where you said, "Okay, I can do this," or the moment that clicked that said, "I should do this"? There's always a
Okay,
moment. There's
yeah,
always a
yeah.
moment.
So back to what I was saying, like how it started and like from before. If I'm really being like honest with you right now,
I need it.
before
Yeah.
like my goddess was always around, but I was never really like in tune with it, like putting much effort or whatever. Like yeah, I was there, but yeah, I was still trying to find myself because I started putting goddess back when COVID happened. So I was still young, like I was still finding myself, trying to know like who I really am as a person, and then it was just kind of there. But then ever since I tore my ACL, which was last summer, that's when I really started to focus more on Point Goddess and putting more effort and work into it. And then, but before my ACL, I wasn't really, like putting much work. But then ever since like I tore my ACL, like it changed for me. I wasn't just thinking about basketball. I was thinking about life after basketball. So like when that happened, like that's when it kind of clicked for me.
It's to me it's still crazy because I think like just the maturity. that you have? Because people forget you're still in high school.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy, you know? 17, turning 18. Turning 18
Yeah.
soon.
Hmm.
Yeah. So like not a lot of people have it,
Yeah.
you know? And it's like, do you ever have times where like, you know, and this is not to throw shade on anybody, but do you ever have time where like you start looking around and you're like, wow, like even my peers, like in terms of management, in terms of brand, in terms of like just adult stuff, do you sometimes look around
Mhm.
and be like, damn, like I can't hang around with my peers a lot because I have to focus on so much like real life stuff already as a high schooler?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Like sometimes like I just look around and I just look at like myself and then them, not to like shame them or nothing,
Yes,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
obviously like they're my dogs, whatever. But sometimes I'm just like I can't really hang around you guys because it's like we in terms of mindset and like growth, we're not at that same level. So it's like I can't
Mm.
really be around you too much because then it's like I'm gonna stoop down to that level, which I don't
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
It's like again, not to shame them or nothing, but sometimes I'm just like,
Mhm.
like I'm just like distancing myself because this is what I want to do. And like a lot of like my peers, I hear them and they're like, yeah, when I'm older, I want to be rich or I want to be a lawyer or whatever. But then like in my head, it's like, okay, that's what you want to do when you're older, but why can't you like start trying to figure out ways to get to that path or like start sooner rather than later? And it's like my parents would always tell me that like instead of starting later when you're like 20 or 30 whatever, why can't you just start now? And it would just make that transition like easier because obviously going from like playing basketball every day to like no longer playing it, that transition like isn't hard, but for me like it's gonna be easy because I already know what I want to do and I'm already like on my path. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And what's crazy about about your brand, and I was sitting down and I was really thinking about it before we got on. I was thinking
Hmm.
about it yesterday. I was on the train. I was just thinking about like the brand and how I got to know it and what it stands for.
Hmm.
Obviously, there's a lot of things that I want to keep on learning from what you're bringing up to me. But I think the big thing that hit me was just like, in a way, being a leader, right? As a point
Yeah.
guard, you're a leader on a team.
Hmm.
Your brand and you being around your peers is also a way for you to be a leader as well.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think for me, that translates from basketball to like real life. And like, there's certain skills that go both ways.
Yeah, definitely.
So for me, it's like, what it, like in the real, like, we'll get to the basketball part after because that's the easy,
Mhm.
but like in the real
Yeah.
life part, because I know you're caring, you're kind, and you're somebody that likes to bring people up. So, how are some ways that you're kind of bringing people up to motivate them or to get to that same level mindset wise, like you're saying?
Hmm. So I mean, before like I ever even started bringing people up, like I keep saying and like I'm gonna keep mentioning it, like I had to like find myself within, because like you can't give, but yeah, like you're drowning, you know.
Right.
So it's like one of the ways like I help others to, like try kind of have that same mindset as me or like be on the same level and to bring them up is really by just like talking to them, like understanding them and their needs. And then I'm like, okay, let's say for example, I know you said we're not going to talk about basketball, but let's say for example, like on the course, like for some of my players, I don't talk to them all the same way because I know that okay, this player, if I scream at her, she's gonna break down and it's done. But then this player, like if I talk to her like on one one and like a chill tone or whatever, like she'll be okay with it. So it's just really like I know who I'm talking to and I know how to put the message out there without being like without them feeling a type of way. So it also comes like with knowing your peers and knowing how they react to certain things. And it's just like I find ways to help them all individually, obviously, because I know like whoever I'm talking to, but even the people I don't know who I'm talking to, like I just try to, whenever I'm talking to someone, like I kind of bring it on a personal note so they know I'm not just kind of bullshitting it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I try to tell them that, you know what, I was once in your feet and that's okay. But at the end of the day, it's like you gotta keep going, like regardless of any situation thrown at you, because it's either you're gonna be like a lot of people that whenever a setback comes their way, it's like, oh, like they don't know what to do, they panic, or it's like, okay, this happened, what am I gonna do next? So it's really about like not thinking about the now, but thinking about like 3 steps ahead.
I have to be honest, like in my 19 episodes, like
Mhm.
that is probably the most thorough answer that I've ever gotten. Like I got my best answer by a 17-year-old. This is crazy.
Thank you.
This is crazy. But no, but it goes to speak to your experience and growing up. It goes to speak to that because something that I've learned to understand and appreciate is that the way that people grow, a lot of people think that it's with age, right?
Mhm.
I tend to disagree in a lot of times because I think that a lot of the maturing that we do is through experiences,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So somebody like you, when you first started playing basketball, you and your sister, right? Both of you girls playing up,
Yeah.
changing high schools, you having this opportunity to go to the US for a little bit, experiencing that, and then coming back, right? And now you're in this role. Like, not a lot of people your age have gotten the chance to experience that
Yeah.
at 17, right? A lot of people, it's kind of like it's the same stable stuff, right? It's like, okay, I go to the same high school, I go same elementary, same high school, boom, 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 and then then life happens.
Yeah.
You've gotten the chance to experience change. You've got the chance to experience hardships with your injury, recovering from that, now getting back to playing and all that kind of stuff, right? So
Mhm.
I always have to talk about this. I want to talk about how the impact of, because we're kind of like in the same situation now where we moved out of Montreal.
Yeah.
Moved out of Montreal, we're doing our thing in Ontario, da da da. But, there's always our mind that is like thinking about back home.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, talk a bit about the Montreal basketball community and how it helped you grow.
So I play at Page, and that community is honestly like where I learned to, where I fell in love with the game. Like just the atmosphere, like the environment there, and like the community. It's like that's in a way it like made me who I am today. Like it made me tough, it made me brave, like resilient. Like they teach you stuff there beyond just basketball. Like they
Uh-huh.
obviously they want to see you grow as a student athlete and not just as the athlete. It's like being in that atmosphere like has shaped me into who I am today. Obviously, other aspects in my life as well, but just being in that environment and being with those people, like I played with Sarah, Lisa Tesson, and like Kenya. Like I played up, like you said, like I played up with those girls. Like I was in what was I? I was playing with the Benjamin girls, and then I was also playing with the Juvie girls. And
Uh-huh.
obviously, like like I was getting my ass beat, but
Yeah.
playing with them like helped me and on and off the court because it made me tougher. Like I keep saying, like it made me who I am today. So it's like being in that community, like it was really a great experience. And I mean, I do like miss it, like and I really reminisce about it because like I miss the people, like just the environment, for example, like the games, like all the teams would come out and like whenever we had a big game and like like it was a rivalry, like they would start like doing chants and all that. And, like I remember them, like all of them, and I just miss that environment. But beyond like Page basketball, like the community in Montreal, like it's obviously smaller than here in Ontario because Ontario is
Mm-hmm.
big, but the
Mm-hmm.
community back in Montreal like is small, but it's like everyone knows each other and it's like when we're not playing against each other, like like everyone says hi or whatever it is, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
a family back there.
Yeah. It's crazy because like I think for me that was the number one thing that I learned is because like I agree with everything you said. Because
Hmm.
like when I moved, you think like obviously the you play against each other, in
Yeah,
Ontario, the people from Fort Erie know the people from Orangeville, the people from Orangeville know the people from Royal Crown, Royal Crown knows Fort Erie. Like
yeah,
it's all like, but for me the biggest thing was like I realized is like, yo, Ontario's big, yo.
yeah. It's really big. Like, compared
That's
to
the first
Montreal, yo, it's
that's the
big.
That's the first thing that hit me because I remember I
Mhm.
was like, yo, like when I used to drive from one game to another, like you go from Paget to Parkex, it's like not even 7 minutes,
Mhm.
maybe under 5 minutes. And then and when the days when it's nice and when there's a tournament, you can walk there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. And it's like the bus too, like it's not like far apart, but here it's like you have to go from one end to like the whole next end, and it's
Everything is
crazy.
1 hour to 45
Yeah,
minutes away.
exactly. Yeah.
So that gave me like kind of like a little more of an appreciation for it because like,
Mhm.
obviously like, our community is small, but our
Yeah.
community is also like, I think that's what makes it very strong too.
Mhm.
And you're getting the look of it for like now you're seeing all these successful players going to play in the NBA and going to play in college, like from Montreal, like who would
Yeah.
have thought, right? So
Mhm.
let me let me um let me ask you this.
Mhm.
You're a point guard. Now let's transition to basketball. You're a point guard.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the qualities and the values that you think a point guard should have on the court?
So one of the biggest ones, to be honest, is consistency.
Uh-huh.
Like
Okay.
being consistent as a leader is a big thing. It's like as you're consistent and like you work hard, like your teammates see that. So then it's like you earn their respect. Being
Right.
consistent, being able to, like hear everyone's like opinions and not just because you're the leader, like, like no, everyone's opinion doesn't matter and that's shut off. And it's like also like being dedicated to the game, being dedicated to your players and being able to make those sacrifices. It's like you're the leader and with being a leader comes great responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so being consistent, like the hard work, dedication, like it means a lot. And for a leader, I think like that's important. Like that, those are important qualities to have because like everything falls in like hand. So it's like you need to be able to, like yeah, you're a leader, but you're not just watching out for yourself. You're watching out for like all the other players on
Right.
your team.
Right.
So like being a leader comes like with great responsibility, and you have to be able to, like I said, make those sacrifices. Because at the end of the day, yeah, it's being a leader, being called the leader, but it's like if you can't make those hard decisions when everyone else can't, it's like how do you stand
Oh,
out?
I know.
Mhm.
See, that's where I struggle. That's where I would struggle because it's kind of like I always want to make everybody. I want to make everybody. Me personally, I want to make everybody feel good, like all the time,
Mhm.
But it's like you said, like there comes a time where you have to make like certain hard decisions.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to get a shot. There's one ball.
Mhm.
Somebody's got to get it, at this
Yeah. And
specific
it's like
time. Mm,
yeah, it's like there's that fine line, like like yeah, you guys are friends off the court, but it's like on the court, like you guys are still friends, but you have to keep in mind that you're the leader as well. So it's like you can't keep that. You have to have the boundaries. You have to know when to make the right calls. Like even though let's say it's gonna affect your teammate or whatever, but you know it's the right play, it's the right call.
hmm So
Being a leader and point guard. Oh, yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, no, no, you got it. Go, being a
Yeah,
leader.
so like being a leader and a point guard, like on the floor, it's like you're the extension of the coach on the court because there's so much a coach can teach us and like tell us, but it's like once we get on the court, it's us five playing. It's not the coach playing or the assistant coach. It's us five. So it's like the coach has to be able to trust you as well. So like again, it just comes with like great responsibility.
hmm Like talk about how you approach. How do you prepare for like a game? Like, and there's probably gonna be some similarities to how you prepare for like your events and all that kind of stuff with Borgata. Like, what's your mindset preparing? Like,
Like
how
so
much?
for me personally.
Yeah, how much do you need? How much information do you need? How much do you, you know, like
Mhm.
study your opponent? How much do you read? How much do you like whatever, whichever way you prepare.
So to be honest, like for preparation, like when it comes to looking at my opponent, I don't really watch them that much. Like I watch them a bit, but not too much, because then I don't want to start thinking like stressing or whatever it is. So like I watch them, but to a certain extent. But then for me personally, like before a game, I start locking in an hour before a game. And before that, like I meditate and then I also do my body scan so that I know that once I get on the floor, like nothing else matters besides the game and who I'm playing against.
Ooh,
So,
mm-hmm. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
I just meditate and I do my body scan. And that's basically it. That's my preparation before a game. So I'm not listening to music. Like I know for some, like them listening to music like hypes them up and gets them like all ready for the game. But nah, for me, I meditate. And I tell my teammates that, like I listen to podcasts first thing in the morning and I meditate, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, yeah, but that's just how I roll, and it's like it comes with its benefits as well. Like for some they think that meditating, like, is bullshit or whatever, but meditating really like allows me, and I know for others as well, to be aware like in the present moment. And like if you're aware in the present moment, you're just thinking about the now, not the later, not what happened earlier. You're just thinking about the present moment. So it really like helps you, and like I said, it has its benefits.
Whoa. Okay. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Now we're gonna have to dive into this. So meditation, what is it? Is it just your breathing? Are you visualizing? Like what is
Yeah, so when I meditate, I'm really breathing and I visualize what the plays I'm about to do. Or for example, not even just on the court, but first thing in the morning, like when I'm meditating, like I said, I'm breathing and I'm also thinking about having a great day. I I take out all the negativity. I forget all about that, and I just bring in positive thoughts. So I'm just thinking about having a great day, and I just tell myself, like, practice is gonna be good later on, school's gonna be great. You're just gonna have an overall great day.
and your body scan? How does like what are you trying to accomplish? How do you go through that process?
Yeah. So for my body scan,
Like first
each
of all, for people who don't know, what is it? What is it? What is a body scan?
body scan, so it's basically you're just breathing in and out, exhaling in and out, and then for me, my body scan, like everyone's body scan is obviously like catered to the individual, but for me, my body scan, I basically inhale, exhale, and I do it at each one of my body parts. So I do my feet, then my knees, my hips, my shoulders, my head, and I go all the way down, then I come back up. And a body scan just basically allows you to, once again, be in the present moment and be aware of everything. And it helps you focus on your breathing as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there's so many different ways I can go with this. Because this is good because I think
Mhm.
where did you where did you learn when did you realize that that was what would work for you? Because you said something earlier that was very
Mhm.
interesting. Like some people, when they look at you, they're like, "Why are you meditating? Why did that?" That means
Yeah.
I'm sure at some point you were probably waking up listening to
Oh,
Gunna,
yeah.
Gunna,
Yeah.
little baby at 7
Yeah.
a.m. You know what I mean? Let's
Uh-huh.
be real. Like we're all, but like
Yeah.
obviously with the maturing and whatnot, like what was the moment that made you be like, okay, well, I'm gonna try this, and then what results did you see that made you be like, okay, this is what I need?
Mhm. So I do when I used to be back at home, like not at Fort Erie, but back at home in Mississauga, I would do agility twice a week. And then my mentor, which is Sly Walters,
Shout out
um,
Sly.
he
Shout
not
out
only
Sly.
does agility, but he works on your mind, body, and soul as well. So then I would have like twice a week, I would just speak to him. We would just talk about my thoughts and what I've been feeling throughout the day. And then he was like, okay, you're feeling this way. So then let's find something to help you like focus in the present moment. That's why like I'm so keen and I talk so much about the present moment because I learned from him. Like he's a great mentor, and like I
Uh-huh.
started doing the body scans, meditating, and all that thanks to him. And before, like when he would tell me and he approached that, I was like, I looked at him crazy, like the way people look at me crazy when I talk
Yeah.
about medicine. I was like, okay, I'll try it. But when I first started, like I wasn't really serious about it. But as I started playing and like the results, like you said, I started to see a change. And it wasn't a bad change, like it was a really good change. I started to see that when I would either because I would do it before practice and games as well. And I started to see a good change. Like I started to be more focused and from the jump, from the start of practice or start of a game, like I was already locked in. I wasn't locked in third quarter or fourth quarter. I was locked in from the beginning. So it was really like thanks to him that I started maturing and changing the way I think of certain things. And the meditation, everything like that's from him.
That's huge. And it's like
Mhm.
because I think especially in basketball, like I think a mistake that a lot of people do is just like they want to compare themselves to others.
Yeah.
Like the way that I'm gonna use a popular name, the way that Steph Curry gets ready for a game,
Mhm.
probably not the way that LeBron gets ready for a game. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And for me, that self-awareness is super key because it's like it's what you need. And
Yeah.
as a point guard, and like you said, like you're someone that's you're very mature and you're very intellectual.
Mm.
So for you, your playing style, having to know when to make the right decisions and all that kind of stuff, you have to be in a mindset where your brain is calm.
Yeah.
You got to be able to keep yourself and be calm. Whereas
Mm.
somebody who is maybe a shot blocker, rebounder, dunker,
Mm-hmm.
or energy player, that level, that emotional level, for you where it's calm, for them maybe it has to be high for them to achieve who they are.
Yeah.
And I think like that's what's super interesting about what you said, because like I think if you figured that out in high school,
Yeah.
sky's the limit for you, girl.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Thank
like
you.
so what's so have you tried teaching this to some other people, or have you tried like kind of like is there parts of it that you kind of like try to transmit to the next generation or to even your teammates?
I mean, yeah. Yeah,
I
definitely.
gotta hear.
And- yeah. So, my sister and I would play on the same team, Maya. We
Yeah,
play for Fort Erie, and like I've been trying to tell her, like you should meditate or what so, but she started, but it's not like, consistent. And as well as my little sister, like I'm telling her like you should meditate and it would help you like relax and calm your nerves and all of that. And she's like, no, I don't need to.
I
I'm
don't
already
need
calm.
to.
I pray. I'm like, okay, yeah, you pray, but I'm just saying like it would help you, but as well as for other one of my teammates, like I tell them as well, like meditating and its benefits, and they're just like, okay, it's like it comes through this ear and it just
Out
out
the
the next ear, and I'm just like, okay, but I'm just trying to help you guys, like like obviously I want to see you guys succeed and like and everything, and it's like that's just one like advice I'm giving you guys, but they're just like,
yeah. Uh,
okay,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I try, but it's like you can't. At the end of the day, you can't force individuals to do certain things, like.
Mm-hmm. Which
But
is no, it's true, and it's like
mm,
you lead, you share your experiences, and then after that, it's like people kind of like take it or they don't. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And after it's kind of like, so it's like, um, pivoting back to your brand when you like, how do you introduce your brand to people without kind of like feeling like you're trying to I'm gonna say sell them on an idea. You know what I mean? How do you
mhm,
kind of like? Is it just you have to and live by everything that you go through on a day-to-day basis, and then people kind of like, oh, what's about, and then it kind of like engages the question, or like, how do you
mhm.
introduce your brand to people?
I mean, a lot of the times, like without me even telling people, and only after I tell them, they're like, "Oh, I already know." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's good to
That's
hear."
cool.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but for those that don't know, and like the way I try to introduce it is just like I just talk to them about it, and again, like I bring in like some personal aspects, and then like I relate it to my brand, and I'm like, I'm not only just an athlete, I'm also an entrepreneur, and like this is who I am, and then I input my life experiences, and I also like um I tell them what Point Goddess is really about. So it just comes down to like talking to people, and like again, it's like there's so much you could say, but it's also like you can't just like keep selling it but without meaning it. So it's like
Hmm.
whenever I talk about my brand, it's like I mean what I say and like I stand by what I say. And it's like that translates to what I do in life as well. It's like it shows who I am and the type of person I am. Cause like, yeah, but like they see my page and whatever, but then it's like once people really get to know me, they're like, okay, like, like she really stands by what she says. So at the end of the day, like for others, it's just like if you're selling something or representing something, remember that you're not just saying it. You also have to put like action into your words.
Hmm. Yeah. So that was a really good answer. So you going into a new season now,
Mm.
you know. Um how do you look at your season in terms of balancing the playing, um the competitiveness of the season, your practices, and like your personal project? How do you balance all of that out? Do you have like a big calendar, a big board for the year, and you have or is it just like events? You go by month. Like, how do you go about it?
No, so I used to use a big board, but then now like it's like I have to erase everything and put it back on, and so now I'm just like, you know what? And I just really put I just have my calendar on my phone, and I also write things down. And then just by doing those things, like, cause I actually have a lot, like my schedule like is busy. Sometimes I have a call this day, like during lunchtime, and it's like if I don't put it down in my calendar or write it down in my journal, I'm gonna forget about it. So just doing like those little things and like organizing my time and my days helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And it really comes down to time management as well. It's
Oh
like
man, yeah. Even
as a
me.
student athlete, like time management is a big thing. And then it's like I know for a lot of athletes, like they keep on hearing people, like especially adults, like repeatedly telling us time management, time management. But it's like as I started growing up and being a student athlete and as well like being an entrepreneur, like time management was a big thing that I had to like really stick in my brain that it's important because if you don't have the time management, it's like your head is kind of gonna be all over the place. And I mean, for some, like that's just how they work. But for like myself or like people that kind of think like me, like having a schedule and organizing is a big thing.
Mm, yeah. That was one of the hard lessons of my adulthood. So I
Yeah.
believe. Um, I can't I can't end this without talking about your family.
Hmm.
I like you go through your injury and then
Yeah.
to have the support system. What does it mean to have, a supportive family? People that support
Yeah.
you
So,
in your basketball career, in your entrepreneurial career.
mhm.
My boy Fareed, holy, it's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it mean to have a supportive system?
I mean, first of all, like I just like want to say how much I appreciate them. Like my family, like they've always been there for me, especially when people have like come and gone in my life. But like my family have always been there for me, whether like I was up or down. Like they were always there for me, always supporting me from my right and my wrongs. And I mean, just having a supportive family like helps a lot. And for those that don't, I really hope that and wish that, like you guys have someone at least by your side, at least one individual by your side that is gonna guide you through your life experiences. And like having a big family, it's really like a blessing. It's like at times when you feel alone, it's like you can just turn your back and then you just remind yourself of like the type of family you have and like having that bond and that camaraderie with your family, like it really comes a long way because like a lot of the times like you're going through stuff and you just sometimes you think that you're alone in this, but then it's like you remember it's like you have a family that will listen and that will support. So just having a big family and I mean not even big, it can be small or big to be honest, but having a supportive family and a family that's always by your side, it really comes a long way. Like for example, in my ACL, like having them at times when I felt alone and I kind of like broke down, just having them like really meant a lot and it showed that there are people in your life that will care, but it's like you have to know who truly cares for you and who don't. Because there are people that will like root for you and like your success, but it's like once you're down and something goes wrong, it's like they're no longer there. So
Mm,
it's like having that family and knowing that they really have your back and they're true to you. It's like it feels good and it really means a lot.
hmm. Yeah, and it's like, again, there's so many similarities between you and I because I
Mm,
think, you're an older sibling and like
yeah,
um you got all like it's not pressure. It's not really pressure, but it's like you have like there's certain expectations being the
yeah,
older sibling.
definitely.
Like me too. It's the same thing. And it's like you a lot of times you're like, man, I don't want this pressure, man. Like I
Yeah,
just want to be me.
yeah, yeah.
but
I
but
hear
then
you on
it's
that
like
one.
but it's like you look back and then you realize that you have a supportive family. You have
Mhm.
in our situation we have supportive mom and dad,
Yeah.
and in both of our situations we have two younger siblings. So
Hmm.
it's like you in your situation it's two younger sisters, and me it's one brother one sister, and it's like I think we're doing good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what I want to kind of like let you know. It's just like it's been amazing to see you just grow into like just have this little flower that just started growing and just keeping up with everything that you're doing. Like like you're doing really good.
Thank you. It means a lot.
Really good, really good. You have any upcoming projects coming up that people should be looking out for?
I'm actually gonna be releasing my book eventually throughout the year.
Holy man, she's doing
Yeah,
books. She's
yeah,
doing books too.
yeah,
Holy.
it's basically just about like my journey throughout like this year and like really tearing my ACL and like my trials and tribulations and the whole point of it is about overcoming. And I want other student athletes who have been in my shoes and who have been through not just an ACL tear, but another like major injury, and like to let them know that they're not the only ones that felt this way. And like,
Mm.
like others have felt this way and it's okay to feel like that. And it's about what are you gonna do next and what what next steps are you gonna take to improve yourself, not just on the court of whatever sport you play, but as well as your mind and your soul.
When should we be expecting this? When should we
I don't
expect?
know yet. I don't
No,
know
no.
yet. I
Okay.
don't know yet, but
So
definitely this year.
okay. So tell you what, when the book comes out and this
Hmm.
video is gonna have thousands and thousands of views, okay,
Yeah.
we'll put the
Mhm.
link. We'll put the link for where people could buy your book. We'll put it in the episode description,
All
and
right.
we'll get you even more thousands of of book sales.
I appreciate it.
Holy, so she gets buckets. She has her own brand. She does books. She leads the next generation. KJ, it's been amazing. It's been
Thank
amazing to
you.
have you on. And where can people find you on Instagram? Instagram and people keep up with Fort Erie basketball. Fort Erie women's basketball
Mhm.
team, one of the best programs we have in the country. So where can people find
Yeah.
you and where people can find your brand on Instagram?
So my handles are point underscore goddess, and for my personal one is just KJ underscore FOZ10.
Mm, you're just gonna keep impressing me, so just keep growing. I'm super excited for the future, super excited for your season, super excited for your new book launch, super excited for everything you have to do.
Thank you.
Sending a lot of love to you and your family. You keep doing what you're doing.
Of course. Thank
All
you.
right, all right, KJ.
Bye.
Bye.